When we talk about the European presence in India, names like the Portuguese, the Dutch, the French, and the British often dominate the discussion. But hidden quietly in the pages of history is the lesser-known tale of the Danes, who, too, once tried their hand in the race for riches in the East. It was in the year 1616 that the Danish East India Company was established, and just 4 years later, in 1620, they founded a modest factory at Tranquebar, near Tanjore, on India's eastern coast. This humble settlement became the center of Danish operations, while their principal colony took shape further north, at Serampore, near Calcutta. Unlike their European counterparts, the Danes were never a formidable commercial force in India. Their trade was limited, their reach never aggressive. In fact, they are better remembered for their missionary efforts, for spreading education and Christianity, rather than for dominating trade routes. By 1845, the Danish factories were quietly sold off to the British, and with that, the Danish chapter in India quietly came to an end. But that then begs the question, why did England, among all the European powers that arrived on Indian shores, emerge victorious? What made the British outlast the Portuguese, push out the Dutch, silence the French, and overshadowed the Danes? The story begins with the structure of the English East India Company itself. Unlike the monarch-controlled companies of France or Portugal, the English company was run by a powerful board of directors, elected, accountable, and answerable to its shareholders. This commercial dynamism made the English company more aggressive, more flexible, and far more efficient in its operations than there was Britain's greatest asset, the Royal Navy. The same navy that defeated the Spanish Armada and triumphed at Trafalgar also ensured British supremacy at sea. They had fast-moving, technologically advanced ships. They learned from the Portuguese, and then they surpassed them in India. It was this naval strength that allowed them to seize ports, outpace rivals, and transport troops swiftly. While the rest of Europe caught up late, Britain had already launched its industrial revolution. New machines like the spinning jenny, the power loom, and the steam engine revolutionized production. This industrial head start gave the British more resources, better arms, and a stronger economy to fund their expansion abroad. The British military, too, was in a class of its own. Their soldiers were disciplined and highly trained. Their commanders were tacticians who weren't afraid to experiment. And their regiments, though smaller in size, often defeated much larger armies through sheer coordination and firepower. Back home, Britain enjoyed stable governance, except for the glorious Revolution of 1688. The country faced no major political upheaval. France, in contrast, saw the bloody Revolution of 1789, followed by the chaos of the Napoleonic Wars. Italy wasn't even a unified nation until 1861. The Dutch were exhausted by bankruptcy and internal strife. The British were also less forceful in religious conversions compared to the Portuguese or the Spanish. This often made their rule less offensive and more palatable to Indian rulers and merchants alike. Perhaps the most underrated factor of all was Britain's use of debt. The Bank of England was the first to sell government bonds, raising money to fund wars on a scale never seen before. While France stumbled under debt, Britain used its financial system to outspend and outlast every rival. Between 1694 and 1812, France went bankrupt repeatedly. But Britain only grew stronger, and so, through economic innovation, military prowess, industrial strength, and stable governance, England rose slowly, steadily, to become the dominant European power in India. As for the others, the Danes, the Dutch, the Portuguese, and even the mighty French, they would all fade away, leaving behind traces, stories, and lessons for the ages. This was not just a story of trade, it was the rise of an empire